The Canada's Wonderland and Planet Coaster series is back. It's been heavily demanded for the past 2 years, but it is back in the form of a whole new series. But before I show you what's going on, I feel like I should go through some history of this project and its time on this channel. So it all started in the summer of 2017. I'd been playing Planet Coaster for about half a year at that point, and let's just say I was really bad. I decided to start recreating my home park, Canada's Wonderland, as well as start a YouTube series of it. The first video was uploaded in early July of 2017. It was short screen recordings of my progress with text on the screen detailing what I had built with some crappy NCS song playing in the background. The video was really bad, but it started a formula I would use for the next little while. That series lasted 11 episodes and lasted a little over a year. Watching each episode in order, it shows how my building skills had improved, but after a year I had improved so substantially that what I had started simply didn't hold up. Thus ended the first iteration. Starting in August of 2018, I started the second attempt, but continued the series, with the start of the second attempt being episode 12. I continued the same way up until episode 14, when I decided to switch things up and start doing time-lapse based videos. It started with a series in which I created Behemoth, followed by one for Time Warp. By that point, a lot of the park was created and looked decent, but I started running into a big problem. Some things were slightly in the wrong place or out of scale, leading to issues where certain things looked wrong or it just wouldn't fit, thus ending the second iteration. The third started in April of 2019, continuing the time-lapse style of video, with 1 for the entrance and 3 for some buildings on International Street. But that stopped there as I returned to the previous formula, which lasted for a single episode. Around this time, I decided to make all the videos of the previous iterations private, as I didn't want somebody finding them, seeing how bad they are, and not realizing that I'm much better now, though I am considering putting them back up. I didn't upload any more progress on the recreation until February of 2020, when I had started doing updates, which had commentary, a first for the series. In these videos, I simply showed off what was new and talked about it, but thanks to lag, these videos were hard to make, let alone building in the park. This lasted 2 episodes, the latter of which was 30 minutes long. That was the last time the recreation had appeared on the channel, but a lot had happened off-screen. In March of 2021, I got a new computer and a huge burst of inspiration. I did so much work on the recreation between March and August that I'd say that the park got to around 3/4 complete. However, I once again ran into the issue with placement, which plagued the second iteration. Specifically with the kids' areas and not having nearly enough space. I didn't even think about the recreation much until October, when I was at Canada's Wonderland and my friend Caden had mentioned the videos he saw of the recreation. Afterwards, I decided to load up the park and look at what I had done. A lot of it held up to my current standards, but a majority of it wasn't, not to mention the placement issues and terrain issues. Thus ended the third iteration, and now here we are. Sorry for how awful the script there sounded, but this is the 4th iteration of Canada's Wonderland, and hopefully the final one. Now, a lot of what you're about to see is taken over from the previous one, from the 3rd iteration, so I'll be sure to specify which is new and which is from the previous iteration. Entrance here is from the previous iteration. It was actually from that time-lapse series from, I believe it was April of 2019, and a lot of it does hold up to this day. It's a bit out of scale height-wise, but other than that, it's actually really good. The interior of the main, entranceway, isn't there. Sign has not been seen in the series so far. I did that at some point when I got the new computer. Looks incredible. Moving on to International Street, the 3 buildings here are the same ones from the time-lapse series in the previous iteration. I redid the flower bed as well as the royal fountain, and I realized I should mention, I mentioned about the previous iterations having placement issues. That will not happen this time, as I'm using the billboard overlay technique, which is just, so helpful. But yeah, I'll show off the International Street buildings just quickly. If you want to see them built, the time-lapse videos are still up, I believe. Moving on to Wonder Mountain, it is the same Wonder Mountain as in the previous iteration. However, it's a bit different with the terrain being accurate now, as well as some height modifications. Wonder Mountain's Guardian, in the previous time it was on the channel, the 30-minute long video, It had the track and supports, but that was it. It now has the entire exterior with the lockers and the stairway up. Interior, clearly not done. I do plan on having an interior, but that is going to take some work, and also that needs some adjustment. Clear to see. But yeah, there's Wonder Mountain's Guardian. Now moving on to this pathway here that leads down to Action Zone, the 3 flat rides you see here are custom and from the previous iteration, though I don't think any of them were previously seen on the channel. Now I will show them off a bit more when this area is more done. But yeah, Slingshot I just thought I should especially show off because it's like my best work. Lazy Bear Lodge, incredible. It is my favorite building ever in general. And it's not entirely complete. I still have to do some stuff with the patio and the employee area back there, but other than that, it is for the most part done and turned out absolutely incredible. It's a beautiful building in real life and looks just as great in the game. Another new building for this year is Mountain Refresh. Fairly small, simple building. Fits perfectly in its spot. Looks good. Moving down this way, Vortex is completely new. Nothing was taken over from the previous iterations for Vortex. New station, far more accurate than the previous one. It includes the pit over here with the ride server room and such. Of course, the station can't be 100% accurate because of the way Planet Coaster does its stations. Top of the mountain is in progress, but the rest of Vortex is complete. Actually, I lied. I said that everything with Vortex was new. The transfer track was taken over. But other than that, it's all brand new. I thought I should show the flyover here. It's just the coaster for now. No other work on it. Soaring Timbers here, you may recognize the ride itself. It was created by BBP Games in 2017 as one of the first ever custom flat rides. It still holds up to this day, which is really incredible. It's been used in every single iteration of the park. I just made some slight improvements using TMTK seats for the ride seats, which shortens up the piece count. And then, of course, the actual scenery around it was done by me and is, for the most part, taken over from the last iteration, except for the queue line, which I need to redo. Lumberjack was also taken over from the last iteration, just with some new scenery. Oh, and the added extended queue line, which it turned out really good. Soaring Timbers is outside of the sign and fountain, completely new, and it also turned out really good. I found some older photos of it before the trees had grown in so I could get the little pump area accurately done. It includes all of the catwalks and such. So that all turned out well. Now down here is more incomplete. Yukon Striker is the same, aside from some changes. The turn at the top of the lift was perfectly 90 degrees then, as you can see here. It is not. So that was fixed. Might made some slight changes to the helix and such. These 4 buildings were taken over. They'll look better once the area is actually done. Then, of course, the pathway. Now, moving on to the main thing. Roadside Chicken and the washrooms. Actually, I believe they're from the second iteration, just with some slight modifications. Same with Lumberjack Climb. And now on to the main thing I've been working on. In none of the iterations I'd done previously had I finished or even got that much progress on either of the kids' areas. So I figured I should do them, since as time goes on and as more stuff is added, it's just going to get more laggy. And I'd rather have to build the stuff before it gets to that point, because the other stuff I can just import from the previous iteration. So, Kidsville. Work in progress, but it's got a lot of stuff in it so far. Maple Park Treehouse, not much to it yet. Sugar Shack is there. Schoolhouse Snacks, Flying Eagles, it's just the standard flyers in the game. Treetop Adventure, because of the way stations are in Planet Coaster, I just use the track, so it doesn't actually function as a ride. but the layout is good, the supports look good. Jokies, Jalopies turned out fine. Of course, there's still some missing scenery and like the other bridge there, but the layout is in. We've got the little maintenance area which connects to Treetop Adventures Transfer Track. Treetop Cafe, fairly simple. The Pizza slash hot potato building. So Kidsville's weird cardboard cutout building style is sort of hard to translate into Planet Coaster, but I think I've got something down that works. Frequent Flyers is there. It looks fine. Heading into Zoom Zone, the saddest area of the park. You have Jumpin' Jet, Blast Off, both custom rides, both look fine. Silver Streak turned out incredibly good. I've been doing a lot of work on this, so I'll just quickly show off the station. Completely custom supported, custom catwalks, just turned out magnificent. The ride photo booth there, or former ride photo booth, I think it's just nothing now. Moving on this way, you have the Parent Rest Zone Guest Services building, which turned out decently. Playhouse Theater, the roof was incredibly hard to do, but other than that, it looks good. Then the final thing is Taxi Jam, which there's not much to it so far. It's just the track layout and some minor support work. But I believe that is all for now. So, yeah, I'll try to get some more work done to warrant a second episode. I will see you all in 2 years. Thank you for watching and enjoy.